Hello, hello, this is Olga with AskYourSoul.org. And today I thought we could do an interesting little spread for which we will use these three decks. Decided to go all out today. And we're going to ask the following three questions in this spread. Number one, what is preventing me from getting to where I want to be? And then, what do I need to focus on in order to make it happen? And then lastly, what do I need to let go of in order to be where I want to be? So I'm gonna get all of my cards in order and we'll be right back. Okay, I am back and I ended up pulling, I think it was 6 cards total. Okay, so let's see what is preventing you from getting to where you want to be in life. These are not exactly oracle cards, these are actually archetype cards by Caroline Myss, who, if you've seen some of my past videos, you probably know that I am a huge fan of Caroline Myss. She has just such a wealth of knowledge to share, especially about healing, intuition, and archetypes. So let's just see which archetypes are preventing you from getting to where you want to be. And here we have, interestingly, bully and an athlete. So for this bully archetype, it says light attributes and shadow attribute for each archetype. So for this one, it says highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. So, of course, for each archetype, you can find positive and negative aspects. And I don't know, this card makes me feel like either you're the one who can be a bully to others, and whether or not you recognize that, it's not like you're purposely just being really mean to other people, but maybe you don't even notice it that much. And the shadow attribute for this one is conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. So maybe there's something that you really need to deal with in your own life that you haven't dealt with yet, and maybe it's something that hasn't even happened recently, maybe it's something from your childhood, from many, many years ago, but I'm sensing that you're holding on to some energy that's just kind of blocking you from becoming this different person that you want to be. It's blocking you from becoming the better version of yourself. You're just kind of giving into those fears. I, for some reason, get like an image of a really hurt small child, and this child is just so upset with how he or she has been treated, is so scared and so sad, harboring all of these feelings of both fear and guilt and anger, like all of this stuff that's just really holding you back. But it's almost like, like when you've gone through something really difficult and traumatic, it doesn't have to be like a huge thing, but it was traumatic to you, whether or not you even recognize that consciously. Like in some way it was really traumatic to you, and so to kind of compensate for that, you kind of develop this different persona that is the opposite of this hurt child that you were when you were in that situation, if that makes sense. It's almost like you give yourself this promise that, like, I will never let anyone treat me like that ever again. And in order to make that happen, I have to have like these specific qualities. So I have to be very strong, both maybe physically and mentally. I have to not be afraid of conflicts. I have to show everyone that I can stand my ground. I'm proud of who I am, I know who I am, and everybody else can just go F themselves, basically. So it's almost like you develop these qualities as a result of just really being hurt and or harmed or just going through really difficult life situations. And so the problem is that there is a thin line between just being strong, strong-minded and being able to stand for yourself, and becoming a bully, and just taking it a step further and taking it out on other people who don't even deserve it necessarily. But I don't know, when I look at this, for some reason, I keep thinking about my best friend who, she's an amazing person. There's so many really, really good qualities that she has. But one of them that's not a great quality is that she totally can be a bully, but she doesn't even like really realize it, I think. She just wants to be heard, and she's so strong, and I even told her this. She's so strong that she can't accept anyone else's weakness around her. or what she perceives as a weakness. Like if it's a weakness to her, which is kind of a subjective thing, right? Could be weakness for you, but strength for me. But when she kind of senses it, like immediately she becomes defensive and it just makes her feel very uncomfortable, and she just doesn't even want to see it. She doesn't want to admit it. She would rather be mean about it than actually like dig deeper and find out like, why is this such a trigger for me? So I don't know, that's basically what's coming to me with this card. Not to say that you are a bully, but maybe some things you just haven't fully embraced and come to terms with, and that's something you really need in order to move on in life. And then this one, that's an interesting one, because I was really expecting to see cards like, the victim archetype, or like the child archetype, or, there's like so many of them, but not an athlete, that's for sure. So, I'm hoping this speaks to whoever is watching personally on a personal level. But let's see what it says for light attributes. It says dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. And then shadow attributes, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability, and entitlement. It's very interesting. So this card, there's something about this archetype that's holding you back from becoming a better version of yourself. Could it be that you care about your physical appearance too much? Could it be that this is kind of, for some reason what's coming to me with this one is that you may judge people based on their like physical aspects, how they look, and thinking that just because you're in a great physical shape, or you're really doing everything you can to take care of yourself physically, that somehow like you're better than everybody else. I don't know, like it's definitely something that only you can know in your heart, and like you don't have to admit it to anyone but yourself. But if that's the case, then I really, really, really encourage you to look beyond those appearances, and when you meet people, paying more attention to who they are at their core, their soul. What do they believe about the world? How are they in the world? Like, who are they, basically, versus what they look like, how much they weigh, or whatever. Or maybe it's even the opposite of that. Maybe it's about you not fully embracing and accepting who you are. Okay, like regardless of your weight, regardless of your physical shape, like if you keep focusing on all of the things that are wrong with you somehow, like physically and psychologically in whatever way, but you don't see the beautiful person, the beautiful human, the soul that's behind all of that, that's behind of this vessel that we have for this lifetime, for like a brief moment in time. So I think this is more about developing your personal willpower and strengthening who you are as a spirit versus anything that's really physical. And I can tell, like, from personal experience, just being a woman in this world, yeah, I definitely know how hard it is to focus on things that are quote-unquote wrong with you and your body. Oh my god, like, especially after giving birth, Jesus Christ, like, I'm still, 2.5 years later, I'm still trying to lose the weight that I've gained during pregnancy. It's so easy to get depressed about that stuff, because it's like you see this one image of yourself, how you want to look, how you expect you should look, and then looking in the mirror and just seeing a totally different person, and you're like, who the fuck is that? Like, I don't even know anymore. Like, who's this person? Like, I don't want to be this person. It's gross, But again, there's like a thin line between just being an ass to yourself, and actually motivating yourself to change things, to pay more attention to the food you consume, to do as much physical exercise as you feel is necessary for your body to look good and to feel good, most importantly. So these are interesting. I wonder, like, when you look at them, if there's anything that's coming to you, pay attention to that. Like, if there's like an intuitive hit and you're like, oh, I think this is what it is. Like, this is what's really stopping me. Because I can only say, like, from the point of view of my intuition and like what I'm sensing about these cards, but it's not necessarily true. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's true in my life, Not necessarily in yours, but this is supposed to be like a trigger for your intuition to figure out what it is. Okay, so that's that. And now let's see question number 2. And this is, what do I need to focus on in order to make it happen? Whatever it is that you want to happen, this is what you need to focus on. Oh, keep getting this card. That's awesome. Look at that. Okay, so it says, happy, happy, round and round, and go the distance. This card makes me think that literally you have everything that you need in order to be happy. You know, and this happiness is not actually like outside of yourself. It's always in you. It's within you. But you have to be like really open to it. And of course, I always notice on these cards when there's like, I hope you can see this, there's like a face, you know, there's someone looking over you always. And I'm assuming that's your guides. So only you have this key, okay? The key to happiness, the key to enjoying your life and just like letting everything flow and just being at peace. So this is basically, you know, what you have to focus on first and foremost. This one, oh man, this card. I think this card is more of a warning about when you find yourself in a situation that feels all too familiar and you feel like, oh my God, I've been through this like a million times before. Or like you find a relationship and like with a totally different person from your ex or whatever, and then you realize that you're having literally the same issues over and over again. This card is just saying like, be mindful of that. Be mindful of not falling into the same trap. It's like once you learn the lesson that this relationship or this experience is supposed to teach you, you will move on. You're not going to have to experience it over and over and over again. Like, we're only given those situations and those people up until the point where we actually learn our lesson, where we actually get the message, you know? So this one is kind of warning you against falling into the same old traps with the same people or the same, you know, qualities or whatever it is. Like, basically just doing whatever you can to avoid repeating the same experience over and over and over. And then this one is just saying that, like, regardless of what it is that's holding you back from achieving what it is that you want to achieve and from getting to where you want to be, you just have to go the distance. Like, do whatever it takes, you know, just take this leap of faith. This is almost like the Fool's card, you know, because it's just like, just take this leap, see what happens, because look how close you are to the finish line, and it's not like really the finish line, it's just the finish line in terms of your next experience, you know, your next whatever it is that you want to manifest in your life. And so this card is just telling you, please just do this, just go the distance already. So this is basically what's preventing you from getting to where you want to be. You maybe are falling into the same old trap over and over and over and over again, and you just don't, it's like you don't fully get the message, or you don't fully integrate this lesson, so it has to keep happening over and over and over. And then for whatever reason, you're not taking the leap of faith, you're not like jumping towards what it is that you want. And lastly, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situations, like, this is always true. It's always up to you how you feel about your life, about yourself, about your situation. And it's saying that only you hold this key, okay, towards your inner state of happiness, of joy, of excitement, of love. It's always there right next to you. But until you fully realize it, and until you take this responsibility upon yourself, you're not going to see it. You're not even going to notice it. Okay, so let's see our last card. And this one is, what do I need to let go of in order to be where I want to be? This one, it says free from judgment, free to love. So I think it's pretty clear that the one thing that you really need to let go of, and this is kind of, you know, really goes together with this card, judging yourself or other people, or, you know, whatever judgment it is. Like, sometimes we don't even notice. It's just so natural to us that we have to judge in order to live our lives, basically. You know what I mean? Because if you don't judge, but not in a negative sense, I mean judgment in terms of like, okay, is this a safe situation for me? Is this not a safe situation for me? Should I use this advice? Should I not use this advice? Should I listen to this person? Should I not listen to this person? You know, we always have to, it's not even judgment per se. It's actually like just evaluating all of the information that we have, which we have like tons and tons of nowadays. But it's one thing to evaluate and it's another thing to judge, I guess. You know what I mean? So this card is like really, really encouraging you to let go of your judgments, especially if they're towards yourself and like where you should be at this point in your life. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Like, that's just a waste of time. It's really this like dark hole that like sucks you in and just makes you feel depressed. You know what I mean? When you start evaluating that situation from an outsider standpoint, like you're just like, why would I let myself get trapped in this state of mind and this like judgmental, depressing state of mind? Like, is it doing anything good for me, like at all? Probably not, you know, unless it's like really motivating you to change something about your life, which I don't know. I don't think it ever does. I think that like if you want to get motivated, you need more like positive reinforcement and people saying, come on, you can do it. And you yourself believing like, you know what, even though I've had all of these difficulties, whatever struggles before, I know I got what it takes to do this or to at least try. So it's almost like you're substituting this judgment with love, you know, instead of feeling judgment, you allow yourself to feel love. And especially if it's again for yourself, it's so much more motivational and helpful when you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for myself because I love myself, not because I hate myself the way that I am now, not because I hate my life the way that it is now, but because I love myself enough to give myself this gift of love and of whatever it is that my mind or my body or my soul actually needs in this life. So I hope that this reading was helpful to you, and whatever it is that you're going through right now, just know that nothing is forever, okay? Everything changes constantly, and at every single moment of your life, every single second of your life, you have a choice to make. And depending on that choice and where it's coming from, if it's coming from fear or from love, you can change the rest of your life. Just like that, moment by moment by moment, second by second by second. And please try to be kinder to yourself, because I feel like we have enough like negativity and just like not the nicest people around sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So I think that, you know, the world could really benefit from us being kinder to ourselves and to each other. So I guess that's my main message for you guys today. I hope this was helpful. And if you'd like a personalized reading, I would love for you to reach out to me through my website, which is askyoursoul.org. Light and love, wishing you all the best, and may you find the courage and love to become the best version of yourself. Bye!